So I say welcome to our very first edition of our program for this year, dubbed Gems of Our Generation, and we will be featuring a number of outstanding Vincentian youngsters, both male and female, speaking about their achievements. Some of them maybe have fallen under the radar. You don't hear about them much, or they're just not very popular names locally, but nevertheless they're making a name for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they're making individual contributions to national development in whichever way. With me on today's program is Mr. Akley Olton, and some persons may know him, others may not, but I'll give him the benefit of introducing himself and telling us a bit about who is Akley Olton.
Good day. Thank you for this opportunity to share and hopefully to inspire. My name is Akley Olton, as Carville may have mentioned, and I am, I guess a filmmaker, even though that term may not make complete sense in St. Vincent. I mean, most people in St. Vincent call me videographer, cameraman, movie man, things of that sort.
Right.
But I've been trying for almost 10 years now to put Vincentian stories on screen in cinemas, not only in St. Vincent, but around the world. I've had some success in some ways, minor, major in some other ways, but I haven't had complete success, as in I haven't been able to create a movie and put it in Russell's so my fellow Vincentians could enjoy and see ourselves reflected on the silver screen. So I'm still at that every day, hustling, chucking away, trying to, manifest it.
And I know a lot of your work has been done outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and in other countries, Canada, Germany, just to name a few of them. But we'll have to go all the way back to the very beginnings of when you were in school and how it all got started and what sparked that interest in wanting to go into filmmaking or becoming, as some people might call it, a videographer, but yours is above that. What inspired all of that, though?
It's not really about above or below, right? I guess the journey started in a natural way. Like, I was one of these young Vincies who could draw. I could draw, that's what I could do. And at that time when I was younger, my parents and also teachers celebrated it. My granny would tell me to draw on the walls when we had no more paper. When the drawing work was done, she'd say, "Boy, draw on the wall." And when I was in primary school, I went to Sign Hill Government. My teachers would, call me to do all the drawings for science class, on the board and whatever. And I guess that sort of made me feel like this thing I could do has some value in our Vincentian community. But growing up and, getting myself more and more educated in St. Vincent, I struggled to find a place or a space to contribute this talent, this God-given talent. So I did it as best as I could, adjacent to my business classes and science classes and whatever. I did visual arts all the way to CXC. And I guess I've been, trying to manifest the value of art in St. Vincent. I've been trying to display it or portray it so that other Vincentians could see it. I think the thing that made me really choose this path or hold on to this path is the guidance of Vonnie Rudette. When I started community college, I went into the art and design class at A-level, and a part of the elective of being an art student was you had to come on the radio and talk about how art functions in the society, which is, I guess, the first time I had the privilege of speaking to you guys live on radio. We're not live, are we?
No.
But yeah, that's how I met Carville, and I think I was in the art room on the radio in the art room for about a year or so, and then I went off to study. In the art room out at community college, my drawings turned into paintings, and I learned how to look at the thing and analyze it and deconstruct it and put meaning, give it the meaning I want to give it, and also just to etch things a bit so that other people could understand a message, And I think that experience, the 2 years in community college introduced me and prepared me for working, in media. And it not only prepared me, it also led to a scholarship, which is how I was able to go overseas and study, how to become a filmmaker.
In terms of some of the work you've done, tell us some of the places you've been, some of the things you've filmed as part of this journey.
My first real film production, like how Pirates of the Caribbean came and you had every department and director and everything. My first experience like that was in Barbados at the end of my degree at the university. I was awarded an internship, but it didn't come easy. I had to fight enough people because you could imagine the Bajans were like 10 years ahead of us. But, I give everything I could give during the time I was there, and the people saw it and they responded to it. And I was awarded this, contract at the end of the university to work on a feature-length film produced in Barbados. The budget was $2 million, Bajan, which is still $1 million US. But it was a significant experience, just seeing so much resources and people and energies and ideas put into creating one story to represent, the nation of Barbados in that particular year. Kind of like, I guess maybe I don't want to compare it to Carnival, but it was significant how the people were organized, to deliver this product, which is really to entertain or to educate people. So that kind of strengthened me and made me want to do more. And I found that the experience in Barbados wasn't enough to put me on the levels that I wanted to be, because you have to understand, when I come home to St. Vincent, I didn't want my fellow Vincies to watch me and call me a videographer. To say, wait, you go university for study how to use camera. So I wanted to take it as far as I could do it. I wanted to do it at the highest levels possible, even though I was a Vincy and my reality says I can't. I wanted to do it. So I schemed up how to put myself in this situation. And one of the avenues was another school, a film school in Cuba. And crazy enough, I came home to St. Vincent after Barbados and found advertisement in the newspaper for the same school I wanted to go in Cuba. I applied and was accepted. The school accepts 40 people out of 500 applications from around the world, and I got it on a full scholarship. So you could imagine I was ecstatic. The only challenge was I had to learn Spanish.
So you could say that you're well versed in Spanish now.
Yeah, I did. I was living in Cuba for 3 years. I'm pretty fluent. I speak Spanish like I speak English more or less, but I guess my English vocabulary is a bit bigger.
It's wide,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we just have a few minutes remaining. In terms of your greatest inspiration in doing this, there must be something out there that drives Akley Olton in not just filmmaking, but in being Akley Olton.
I think it was, or it still is, me. And when I say me, I mean you. And I mean every single Vincentian. I mean my brother, my sister. I mean all the young people who are trying to figure out themselves. I think the technology and the art combined creates great opportunities for diversification and for other Vincentians to create, I guess, parallel kinds of income and kinds of employment other than the mainstream doctor, lawyer, teacher, whatever, scientist, whatever. I feel as a country that thrives on tourism, we need to be able to empower and take advantage of our creative and cultural industries. And film is one of the only art forms that encompasses everything. So when you look at the movie, there's musicians, there's painters, there's actors, there's producers, there's all kind of artists coming together to create one package that represents one idea. So I think that's what pushes me. I wanted to be able to share what I found in my journey, being an artist, what I discovered about me, about being a Vincentian, about being a human, about being a Caribbean person. I wanted to share it to my brothers and sisters here in Vincy. I wanted to show you the magic of a movie making process. I wanted to do it real simple, make my, other Vincentians a part of the process, bring them into it, have them experience it so that they too could understand that even though we live all our lives looking from one side of the screen, we could put ourselves on it, on the other side, if we wanted to. And it's not impossible to do, So I think that's my motivation to do it. I also think that it's a part of the decolonialization process, and the emancipation process is a mental emancipation. And I feel if we are able to see value within our communities, and the camera could allow us to do that, because if we see that plant and that plant is valuable, we point the camera at it, we extend the value of that plant, so that everybody could see it. So I wanted us to be able to see beautiful things in St. Vincent and put them on the screen, because that's where all the beautiful things go, on the screen. No?
On the screen.
Everything we want to be, everything we aspire to be is on the screen. Why are we not there?
Well, on that high point, we'd have to end. There's so many other things that we could talk about. But of course, I'm sure that at some point we'll be able to hear from you again in the not too distant future. But we're really glad that you can share your story with us. Maybe it's an inspiration for someone listening, a young person listening. It may not be a mainstream career that you want. It may not be something that's very popular or something that you hear about all the time. But if it's something that you dream of doing and you know that you will excel at it, just go for it.
Hollywood is like the American dream. You can make it anywhere.
And on that note, we end off this program of Gems of Our Generation, a new program spanning September into October this year as we celebrate our 40th anniversary of independence. We feature our young people, our dedicated young people who are really making a name for themselves. They may not necessarily be household names or brand names, but really making their own individual contributions to national development. Today we had Akley Olton of iRebel Pictures, and by now he's an established filmmaker, mostly outside of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we look forward to having you in our next program when we'll have another young Vincentian featured. Thanks very much. I'm Calvin Harry. Do enjoy the rest of the day, and thanks for listening.